Hey, Tony Gadsden's here, popping in a little video. Red flags we ignore because we want love. Number one red flag we ignore is vices. A lot of times we ignore the vices like smoking weed, alcoholism, gambling, cursing like a sailor, which wouldn't be a vice, kind of be a personality trait, but watching pornography, things of that nature, because we see it as this is normal. This is an adult. This is what adults do. This is, everybody does it. So therefore, we ignore it because we think that if we get in good and we can get to know them, then everything gonna be okay, and that slows us down. The number two red flag that we ignore is personality traits. Somebody being too controlling, too critical, too pessimistic, too ignorant, too playful, to whatever that is too far away from our personality. We ignore that, forgetting that a person's personality is formed by the age of 7. And although we can grow, we can change, we can evolve, we can get better, that personality is still formed. And 9 out of 10 times, the person not gonna change. You gotta think about that. Think about somebody that you've known for a decade and ask yourself, have they truly changed? Very few people you know have changed. Now remember, the live in-person seminar in Central Florida is on TonyGadsdenAcademy.com. We only got 100 seats, so grab your ticket. The $97 ticket is for the live event. The $47 ticket is for the virtual event. Once you get your ticket, on the inside you'll see a link where you can get a ticket for the dinner with me Friday night. It's only 10 spots for that. And you'll see the link where you can get your discounted hotel room to stay at the hotel where the event is at. Now this is just something I'm doing in partnership with my partner who owns the hotel, and that way it keeps me from having to pack up and leave the state. So that's January 24th. Make sure you get your ticket. Now the third red flag we ignore is because we want love is family issues. A lot of times we go into this situation and we may meet somebody and we go to building with the person and you get to learn about their family. You may meet their family, and in doing so you see that their family may be full of drug addicts, may be full of very backwards thinking people, may be full of people who are just very, for whatever term you want to call it, but essentially a group of people who haven't grown and evolved. They're not trying to change. Y'all gotta forgive me. They're not trying to be better. And we ignore that because we want love. And that right there plays a part. So let's break these 3 down. And we talk about deeper stuff on our one-on-one sessions, which all sold out. So I need to remove that link out of the description. If it's still there, y'all forgive me, because it's booking into January now, I think. Y'all forgive me, I got this gum in my mouth and it got that mint in there, and that air conditioner hit that mint. Woo! Air conditioner hit that mint and swallowed. They choked me up. And so think about the vices. Go back to number 1. Think about them vices. One of the main things that I'm seeing that's affecting relationships is number one is weed smoke. What weed is doing is it's making people unproductive. A lot of people who are smoking weed every day, on average, start to become very unproductive, especially men. Start to be either schizophrenic, kind of like, or psychotic, having chemical reactions in the brain to the strands, the different strands of marijuana, being unproductive, unfulfilled, inconsistent, slothful, unreliable, not really growing, not advancing. And that's really becoming a thing. And we got to be mindful of that. Really becoming a thing. Another vice that is starting to tear up a lot of relationships and seep in and cause distrust. Now, what is they doing? Is gambling. The gambling is starting to become sort of a house of cards. And it's causing a lot of lies, a lot of sneaking, a lot of manipulation. When the casino is involved, the casino may stimulate some desires for escorts, especially if Vegas is involved. May stimulate some desires for escorts, things of that nature. And that's causing some issues and problems. Another thing with the gambling is a fixation, an obsession, to where even young boys who are teenagers, you know, my son and all his friends, they do like little $5, $10 things on this site, on this app. And I was doing it for like a month to see what all the hype was about. I deleted the app because I realized that it will go nowhere fast, and that you'll end up losing all your money. I deleted the app. And I have self-control and all of that, but I just realized that it'll become more and more tempting. It's just not worth it. And that is leading to a lot of issues because budgets are being busted. Budgets not being set to begin with. Lies is being had. Side accounts, secret accounts being formed. Things of that nature, and that's causing issues. Now, another and the most pervasive vice is pornography. That pornography, aka nasty movies, is the most destructive. And it's destructive in men and women. It creates a hyper lust. It creates a lack of trust. It builds fantasies that are uncontrollable. It leads to infidelity. It leads to illicit and ill-advised and erroneous behavior. A lot of individuals began to pay for escorts. It leads to a corrosion of the relationship. It leads to threesomes. One, I want to make an example to you that it was brought out that Cardi B and Offset was having threesomes because she gave a fantasy about a threesome. Y'all forgive me. And also, you see what happened. Their relationship ended. Also, another threesome relationship that did not last, P. Diddy and Cassie. Another one that did not last, Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert. And I was very disturbed the other day when I saw Sierra with Teyana Taylor, and the way Teyana was hugging on her, knowing that Teyana do threesomes. She have talked about that on the Breakfast Club. If I was Russell Wilson, I would not want my wife nowhere near a woman who do threesomes with other women, because that lets you know that woman is bisexual, and that woman can lust after your woman, and that woman could want to be active with your woman, and your woman could be nice and sweet as she want to, and that woman could be plotting and planning on her, and one day could make things very awkward by making a move and saying what's up, if they have not already been there. So that is that's a problem, and that happens, and that's a very real thing, and that right there, that pornography really leads to a lot of destruction, and a lot of people don't realize or understand that. Y'all gotta forgive my head to meet my daddy to switch cars, because get his car serviced, and gave my dad probably a couple years ago, gave him my Bentley for the golden years of his life. And coming to the end, Bentley almost paid off. The people tried to steal it. They wanted to try to get it because they know it's worth more than what it's owed. So they tried to set up to try to make a default on the payments so that they could steal it. But God is good. He persevered, figured it out, and got it paid for. Got it caught up. The devil is a lie. And so that right there is very destructive. Now, on that second red flag that we talked about, which is personality issues, a lot of times we ignore that. And it's so crazy that we could read each other. Once you get around people and you have been around people, you start to be able to tell their little situation. So it's like, if you got somebody who is very sensitive or insecure or controlling or jealous or whatever it may be, and they start to try to change and they start to try to grow, when you say or do something that triggers them, you're gonna recognize that. You'll recognize it and you'll see it, and they may not say nothing, but you know that that was triggering to them. And what that shows you is that they still the same way they were when you met them. And that's what you have to realize and understand. That you got to pay attention to the personality differences. And that's going to teach you a lot. It's going to teach you a lot. It's going to share a lot with you. Well, I guess them steak nuggets couldn't save them. Arby went right out of business. Arby slap out of business. I know somebody else going to come there and try their luck. But that location bad. Arby's went out of business. Okay, all right. Sign of the times. Sign of the times. Working on opening me something for faithful men. Just gotta get the money together. Once I get it together and get it designed, then I'm gonna franchise it. So, I want you to think about this here and be very mindful, because a lot of times you get desperate. And sometimes in this personality differences. It could be racial differences, it could be religious differences, it could be age difference. And those things are red flags that people ignore all the time. And people will ignore those things because they say, hey, you know, we could work past that. We could get through that. It's not that big of a deal. And so they ignore it and they try to move on. And that ain't how that works. Because you end up paying the price for it. You end up whatever it may be. So in that space, that personality is typically going to be jealousy, which, well, let's change jealousy to, because what jealousy comes from, the root of jealousy is insecurity. Insecurity is the #1 personality defect that people ignore because they want love. That insecurity is very dangerous. It's very dangerous, and you gotta be careful, you gotta be mindful. But that right there, that derails a lot of people. It really does, because that insecurity, look up here, it'll mess a relationship up when we are not positive, and when we don't get that security and we're not secure, it messes us up big time, because it'll cause us to not trust. Like right now, my wife at the field with 2 men and their sons. And yes, a lot of times that's dads who do that. But our marriage is different, because my wife really, really loves sports. So she liked to train Tallen. So if I was insecure, I would be up there to the field. And she invited me up there to come on up there, but I'm like, no, you go ahead. Like, you go ahead, because there's no need for me to be up there stacking on top of what y'all doing. Now, some of them other men, wife, may look at my wife and see how pretty she is, and may have asked their husband, are you sure you're not attracted to her? Are you sure you're not whatever? But then the women also know who her husband is, and they know that it's not a snowy chance in the devil house that those men could take my wife from me or do anything with my wife. And then also, I look at it as like, you got to be able to trust humans. Now, I wouldn't condone her putting herself in a position like, these are older white men. They not Travis Kelce white men. They, you know, complete total opposite. And so it's not like she dated guys like that. Like, if she was Candace Owens, I wouldn't be letting her go up there with white men by herself. I'd be up there. Knowing who she is, I wouldn't let her be up there with handsome, fit, basketball built black men. I have to be up there. So we still are humans, in the sense that we shouldn't be put in a place of temptation, because anything could happen, just like at the Coldplay concert with the man and the woman. But at the same time, we can't be overly insecure, because things gonna happen. Like, I just went to Costa Rica on a retreat, and there were beautiful women on that retreat who are beautiful and fit and single with no baggage, no issues. And it's like, my wife, we talked every day, we FaceTime every day, but she never, not the entire time, and I put this with the Lord being my witness, did she say, are you attracted to any other women? Never did she say that. Never did she say, show me your hotel room to show me that no women is in there. Never did she say that. Never did she say, you better behave yourself. You better not be flirting. You better not be sitting with the same woman the whole time. Never did she say that. But she was FaceTiming me every day. I FaceTime her. We had great talks. Great conversation. Brought us even closer. We didn't have a single argument. Didn't have a single disagreement. And it comes from confidence. And I come from more toxicity than my wife does. So I had to look at my personality, and I have to say to myself, okay, this question came to my mind. So what I do is I lean on her strength, and I say to myself, does she ask me that question? And if the answer is no, that lets me know that I should not be asking her that question. And guess what I realized? The nicer I am to my wife, the more confident I am to my wife, the more attractive I am to my wife. And I've always known that. And that's how I was by default as a young man, because I was a cheater. So I never was checking on a woman. I never worried about what a woman had going on, because I was doing my thing. But then when I became a 100% faithful man, I started to look within a little more, look a little deeper, and start to kind of wonder and stuff, because you just assume like somebody got to be cheating. And I didn't know that a 100% faithful relationship was possible until I showed it to myself, and my wife showed it to me, to where I could go shower and leave my phone on the bed. She got my passcode. She could go shower, leave her phone on the bed. I got her passcode. So if anything going on that shouldn't be going on, we easily could find it out. And we both know that we could find it out. So therefore, we don't do nothing. And we both know that we will leave in a heartbeat. So therefore, that we know we'll leave in a heartbeat, that also keeps us faithful to one another. So you got to look at them personality traits and really see. And this is what you have to do. Remember, the OGs already know this, is whatever it is that you see may be a red flag, you have to multiply it by 3. Because if you multiply it by 3, that's typically what you're gonna deal with right there in that relationship. You got to multiply it by 3. So if you are feeling a tinge and you feeling like, man, I don't really like this, the way I'm being talked to, the way I'm being monitored, the way I'm being watched, the way I'm being treated, the way I'm being whatever, multiply it by 3, because when you get married and they get comfortable, it's going to get worse. Now, the other red flag that I mentioned is the family differences. And now family differences could also be what encompasses the belief differences. Like if one of you are Christian, the other of you are Muslim, you're gonna have differences. If one of you are Jehovah's Witness, the other is non-denominational, you're gonna have differences. If one of you is Seventh-day Adventist and the other is Southern Baptist, you're gonna have differences. So you gotta look at those things, the family differences. A lot of times our religion comes from our family. The other thing you gotta look at is the mindset of the family. So if you come from a family that is very supportive and loving and kind of hands off, in the sense of, hey, we are here, we your support, we your love, we your whoever, but you do your own thing. Go do your own thing. Live your life. Like, have fun. Come over to the house, come over to Thanksgiving, whatever. Do all that when you want to. Do your thing. Then guess what? That's totally fine. That's what it is. If somebody family is very clingy, very controlling. They very, what's yours is mine. You can't elevate unless we all elevate. You got to take care of everybody in the family. That's going to be an issue. It's going to cause a lot of problems. And you're going to go through that. And so me and my wife is like that. And it's still the same thing to this day. And what I had to do to just make it a little different is I had to bring her mama into the fold. I had to bring her daddy family into the fold, so that they getting what my family getting in some degree, in some type of degree. And so it's a very real thing. It's a very real thing. But like my wife's family, they very hands off. You know, they very on her dad's side. They very hands off. They do their own thing. They don't ask for nothing. They don't expect nothing. Now they will accept anything you offering, but they don't ask for it. And so with my family being so demanding and so expecting, it caused issues, because I probably have, it's probably been $500,000 or more that has gone to my side of the family. And imagine with that $500,000, we could have done bought a whole nother primary residence. And so, and then to my wife's side of the family, it's probably been 100,000, something like that. And yeah, it's gonna be more, you know, because we take care of her mom, but we take care of my mom as well. And then we bless my dad, and then we bless, you know, whoever else as needed. But in the beginning, that caused a lot of problems. And one day, when I really, really make it, and my sister get married, and she married, then she'll be brought into the fold. And it'll probably be a monthly stipend that she get. I don't give her a monthly stipend because she's not married, but she got a boyfriend, so I don't give to that. But I bought my sister a car. That was $35,000 cash money. So it still was help being given. And but I come from one of those type of families, and so you have to look at that. And this is what people look at. I had to block somebody the other day because they was talking about the person was like, oh, Tony don't realize the same grace that cover him and the same grace that'll cover us. And no, that's not true. Just was on the retreat with a young lady who she coached on herpes. She called herpes. And so that shows you that everybody grace not the same. Because if it was, she would have never had to go through that. She went through that, and now she helped several other people who go through the same thing. And she about to get on my mentor.life again to start helping more of you who are living with herpes and dating with herpes, so that you can get that help and have somebody to talk to. And so that's the thing. So you can't look and say, and this is what I try to tell y'all, I don't teach based on what worked for me and my wife. I teach right from wrong. I teach based on principles. So I may use us as an example, but don't get stuck on us as an example, because you're not me. God has graced me differently because of the calling that he has given me. But the people who are not called to do what I'm doing, who have lived the way that I have lived, they dead or in prison, or they have a life-altering disease that they can't get rid of. Like, it ain't everybody don't have the same story. The ultimate grace that says you could get into heaven, yeah, we all got that. But everybody don't have the same story. It's men who done stuff I done, and they done got shot and killed. And so don't try to say, don't look at, oh, well, Tony, you and your wife did it worked out for y'all. Listen, built different. Like, You got to realize that I really, really, really walk and talk with the Lord. I really, really, really work for the Lord. So if you with somebody that they don't have that kind of relationship with the Lord, the change I made and what I'm doing, they may not be able to do that because they don't have the same source. So you can't compare apples to oranges. Instead, you got to do right, because God has sent me to talk to you and give you the right from wrong so that you don't play yourself. So don't look and say, oh, Tony come from a more ghetto family, Cherie come from a more proper family, and they worked out. So I could go get with me a ghetto boo. Because guess what? I just was talking to a gentleman who went through a divorce, and I remember they was together for like several years, him and his lady. And I say, why y'all ain't got married yet? He said, because I don't think she the one. I say, why not? He said, because her family different. I said, what you mean? He said, her family more like takers. Like they more like tit for tat. Like they want to come up. Like they more this and that, this and that. And he said, my family, they know, like they don't bother me. Like they don't ask me for nothing. They don't expect nothing. It's different. And so I'm like, but they still ended up getting married. After he said that now, they still ended up getting married. But guess what? They got a divorce. And quickly, they got a divorce. Quit work. They got a divorce. Just like that, though. Divorce. And the crazy thing about it was he called it. He had called it and said she not the one. But guess what? He ignored the red flag. He went forward with her anyways and ended up in a divorce. And that's what I need you to realize and understand. The caveats and nuances is you can't look at what happened with somebody else and assume that it's gonna happen for you, because his family is more like my wife's family and her family more like my family. But here me and my wife have been married 18 and a half years and still going strong. And it will literally take, the only thing gonna make me and my wife break up is infidelity. That would be the only thing that'll make us break up. And it wouldn't be like emotional cheating. Like we wouldn't get a divorce over emotional cheating, or because that's based on perception. That's based on, that's objective. It will have to be physical cheating. If physical cheating ensues, we will get a divorce. Point blank period. We will get a divorce. And go on about our business. And we would get a divorce and not even tell the world. The world will just have to find out. Just have to be searching court records every day. Yeah, boy, I hope ain't nobody searching our court record, boy, because they probably been disappointed, boy. They probably be searching every week, searching. And can't find that. To be like, man, they still together. Man, they still together. 18 years later, yeah, they still together, man. And point blank period. But I love my wife so much, I would never leave my wife. I'd never leave my wife for no another woman. Only thing I'll leave her for is infidelity, and that's the grounds that the Bible give us to leave on. And that's it. Physical infidelity. And that's it. I wouldn't even worry about if a man was trying to flirt with her and whatever, because men so crazy, men will kill you. So I wouldn't even get caught up in that. And because that ain't the Bible. But if it's physical infidelity, I feel a got to go. Got to go. And guess what? I would never marry again, to my knowledge. And the Lord have to show me otherwise, but I would never marry again. It'll be a lot of disappointment out here. One would be thinking, oh, I could change. Yeah. Won't even put no meat leg on her. Be out here like Apostle Paul. Living my life. You get me? And so, but guess what? That's how I've learned love. And that's why I believe in love. And that's why I believe in God. And God is love, because I'm living it. And I realize that we made for love, and that we can win, and we can be healthy, and we can be happy, and love can work if two people are committed, despite your differences, despite your mistakes, despite what you've gone through. If you commit it and you want it to work, you can make it work. And that's what I have found. So, hey, that's what you got to realize and understand. And it's Tony Gaston getting ready to pull up here and meet my dad. But think about those. And yes, there's more red flags probably out there that you could think of. You could put some in the comments, but they will fall most likely in one of those 3 categories. And you got to be mindful of that. But hey, all the important links in the description. God bless you. Shout out to the donors of Tony Gaskin Family Foundation. We still in the boys program, but we building back up. We'll get back started around like March in a real way. And so we building back up. So I'm just letting the donations to the foundation just kind of start to accrue. We might be at around $1,000, but that program probably cost us $250,000. So we got to push. So thank y'all so much for your love and support on that. And we will be in touch. I got another video I'm gonna shoot once I switch cars with my daddy. But I may just record hour-long videos Monday through Friday and take Saturday and Sunday off. When I'm able to record an hour, like here, I got about 40 minutes, so that still counts. Once I cross 30, look like my daddy already here. He beat me here, so that worked out good. But hey, God bless you. Make sure you grab your ticket if you can make it. There's no refund, so do not get a ticket if you don't think you can make it, or be ready to turn it into a donation to the boys program. God bless you. Keep your head up, and we'll talk soon.